Robert, live on the Gen XYZ podcast. The reason we were down in Orlando, both of our families here recently, was because of Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights. Quite the show this year. We did a little preview about, 5 weeks ago, on this very program. And tell me this, did the 25th anniversary, did it live up to your expectations?
It was terrible. It was just, I couldn't imagine a worse year for Halloween Horror Nights. No, I'm kidding. Of course, it was awesome.
Yeah, we're about to be fighting there for a second.
Man, I bought everything. My ass is broke.
Hey, Gary, did you see, real quick, it's kind of a side note, but you see they brought the alumni shirts back?
Yes, and they brought the Tervises back, too. Damn it, I didn't get a chance to buy it. And now they're back. I'm going to have to go down, one of these weekends here soon just to buy the Tervis. But I got the alumni shirt. I got the annual pass holder alumni shirt, so at least I got that.
Oh, okay. But yeah, there was some kind of a copyright problem with the graphic on the shirt or something?
I have no idea what the hell happened with any of that stuff, but some sort of screwery, I just made that word up, but some sort of crazy stuff was going down, and I don't know if it had to do with Chucky. There was rumors it had something to do with the guy who originally was the caretaker, wanted something to do with the use of his image and all this other nonsense, and they pulled it for a week or 2 weeks, and now it's back, and it's just this big mess. But it didn't make sense to me. I could not wrap my head around it because the whole time they were using Chucky in the scare zone, and they were using his imagery and all that stuff. And if that was the case, then why the hell were they still able to use it unless it was a different performance rights versus licensing rights for merchandise and yada, yada, yada. It just blew my mind. But needless to say, I'm going to have to go down one of these weekends so I can buy a freaking Tervis for $26.
That's what
is Tervis?
Tervis is some of the best cups, insulated cups.
With the lids?
Yeah. So they had a special one for Halloween Horror Nights that included the icons on it: Jack, the caretaker, the director, was the storyteller on it? I can't remember. But then it also had Chucky on there for some reason, and I still to this day cannot understand why the hell Chucky was on there, but they didn't put the usher on there.
Right. Heck, that's weird.
Yeah, that blew my mind because now I have this awesome shirt, but it's got Chucky on there for some reason. Chucky was never an icon. Chucky has been featured in several different events, but he was never an icon. And it just I was like, what the hell is this all about? It's you got the usher, who is a beloved icon. A lot of people, it's kind of amongst the icons, he's kind of like the cult classic hit. People adore him just because if you've ever seen the usher, he's really creepy. He's like, hello, and welcome to the Universal Palace Theater. He's he's really creepy, dude.
Yeah.
So
kind of talks like the butler from Haunted Mansion, except not ridiculous.
Yep.
And by the icons, it's pretty much like the original characters that Universal has come up with over the years.
Yeah, these are all intellectual properties owned by. Well, I guess they're not really IPs technically, but they're all properties and ideas owned by Universal. So for them to have put, I don't know if it was a cash grab and they were like, hey, let's put Chucky on there, that might get more people to buy this stuff or what, but I don't think it went over very well with the hardcore community because I think a lot of people were kind of dumbfounded as to why they would do that.
Right.
It's kind of weird.
With that being said, and Trey, what's your initial takeaway from the show, from the 25th anniversary?
It's probably, I don't know. I think it might. I don't know if I'm over exaggerating it, but I think it might be the best year they've done, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Except they didn't have the best house ever. Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare will forever be the greatest house ever. But top to bottom, I think it was the closest. There wasn't one house that was ridiculously terrible. Other than, but even it wasn't that bad. Yeah.
Purge.
Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, that was definitely bottom of my list. But Purge needed some help.
Yeah.
They did really good considering all the crap they had to go through to get it to that.
Oh yeah. With it starting out with the Scream House and stuff, like I was like looking for that, like, okay, this was for Scream, this was that, and I was like, yeah, this was really laid out really well to be a Scream House.
Yeah,
there was a whole kitchen scene that you could tell was exactly the kitchen from the Scream scene with Drew Barrymore on the phone. You know, Josh, you've seen Scream, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you remember, you know, Drew Barrymore was cooking the popcorn on the stove and
Oh yeah,
on the phone with the guy. And it's that kitchen, and they had to kind of scramble and bloody it up a little more and change it up a little bit. And then you also have the next room that you walk into is the person.
And they had like some blue lights, and it looked like it was like the backyard patio with like the swimming pool and stuff in that same room too.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, that where it was like her boyfriend or whatever was sitting there, and Ghostface was killing him or whatever.
Right.
Yep.
And then the next scene where the person's hanging from the tree with their guts hung out and everything, and they kind of change that up. And then the garage scene, they had to shift that around where what's her name, Rose McGowan gets trapped in the garage door. Remember?
Yeah.
That was another one where they had to really adjust it around and change it up. The rest of it, I didn't really care for it. To me, yeah, Purge was tough. Dude, I mean, I liked the Run House okay, but I never could get into it, to be honest. I liked it. The Run House kind of threw me off because the last, it was supposed to be, here's what I got confused on, is it was supposed to be a country, you know, which I got with the, you know, Japan, Canada, America.
Germany.
But what?
I think.
What was,
Germany, Greece, I think.
Oh, yeah, Germany.
Italy.
Italy, yeah, that's what it was, yeah.
Was that the Gladiator one?
Yep, that was for Rome.
Okay. I still never got the candy one at the end. It was the scariest room, probably, but...
It was America. We love candy or something like that. I didn't quite understand it.
I mean, the two chicks at the end were kind of weird. That kind of freaked everybody out, but it didn't really fit the motif of just being about the U.S. I don't know. I think it was kind of confusing. It was a neat house, a good idea.
Drayton, I have to correct you. It's not the U.S. It's the corporate states of America. Thank you.
Oh. Well, now. I'm just kidding.
There we go. Well, how about we do this? Let's go bottom to top. Let's go 9-1, and just throw it out there. Which is the worst? Which is the best? And let's sell this.
All right.
Can we all just agree that The Walking Dead was the worst?
Yes. Just agree. Let's just get past it. Get to the good ones.
Hold on. Give me a second here. Let me pull it up just to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I don't know that I could say Walking Dead. I mean, I kind of like. Don't get me wrong. I didn't like it. I'm over zombies, but I don't know. Run just didn't do as much for me. I don't know. I may have to put Run last.
Run, I think, was definitely not scary, and I get that scariness absolutely plays into what makes a really good Horror Nights house, and Run definitely wasn't scary. It was cool as hell. I loved the story and like the Q video, if you had a chance to watch it, the whole story and everything, but it was really cool, but it wasn't scary at all. It felt like a Horror Nights maze, though. Like, they put a lot into the story of that house, which was really cool.
Yeah,
I liked reading the little like updates and stuff as you walk into each room. Like, this country has 2 points for a kill, and this guy got killed on a wall, so he got 4 points and all that stuff. I like that.
Yeah.
They had a lot of thought to it still, because
I think that might be what I like about it. It's just like the story and the detail, and you kind of just like get immersed into it. I think that's what I like about it.
Right. And as we all know, I mean, I think that's kind of why we need to you kind of need to go to Horror Nights as much as you know, and more than once, because the timing of going through a house makes all the difference in the world.
Yep.
You know, and I feel like the Run House kind of, I think I might have mistimed it a lot. You know, there were a couple of good spots, but I don't know, just didn't, I don't know. To me, how about this? We'll say Walking Dead is tied with me for last, and my last place will be Run as well. So 2 in the 8-9 slot. How about that?
All right.
Fair enough.
Yep.
All right.
I'd have to say my 8 is the American Werewolf in London. It just didn't do it for me this year, as opposed to 2 years ago.
Is that because you saw it already, you think?
You know what?
Been there, done that?
Like 2 years ago, I loved it every time, and then this year, I don't know, nothing really changed, but it felt different for some reason.
I do like that the puppets were a lot more detailed. 2 years ago, I didn't get a lot of scares. The puppets never hit me timing-wise, and this year I got perfect timing going through it, every time I went. And I'd still rate it kind of as number 8 too, just because it's nothing new. It's still awesome. It's still a super badass house, but it's not new. I mean, newer is always better.
Right. Like Trey, your girlfriend went and saw it. That's the first time she went through it, right? So.
Yeah.
What did she think of it, you think? Did y'all talk about it at all?
She enjoyed it, but she thought it was way too loud and stuff. I mean, not that she's old or anything, but she just thought the wolves and stuff were too loud, and then where what's his name friend is dead, and then he shows up and they have that super loud whatever, and then the strobe lights and stuff that. I feel like that was the loudest part of the house, and it was kind of unnecessarily loud just to get a jump scare almost.
Well, when he jumps out at you behind the medical
behind the curtain in the doctor's thing,
right.
Whatever.
I feel like that movie kind of invented the jump scare, though, kind of in my opinion. With just super watching that movie, the audio is just so ear bleedingly loud. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I will say this though. That house nailed the imagery of American Werewolf in London. The movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how much. I mean, honestly, how big are those houses? You think, Gary? I mean, square footage wise, that they cram all these scenes and iconic scenes into what? 1,500 square feet, 2,000 square feet.
No, it's got to be way bigger than that. They're probably cramming them into at least 50 or 20, 30,000 square feet of these things. Because, I mean, the space you actually walk through, it's probably closer to maybe 10,000, 15,000 square feet. But you got to think about the back prop. There's back stuff you don't see, where the boo doors and stuff are. So each of these sound stages, they're using at least like half of these sound stages when they do them. And some of these sound stages, I couldn't really tell if that was done this year, but some of these, like Soundstage 21, they use that whole space. You could tell they use that whole freaking space. That's where 25 Years of Monsters of Mayhem went. But I don't know how to really estimate that square footage wise. I'd have to imagine it's tens of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I will say the American Werewolf in London, whenever you go out in that street scene near the end of the movie, that's like, I don't know, maybe it's because you're in like such a confined space and you go out there's more open space, but like it kind of has like a real feeling of like openness and just like being bigger than it should feel, considering that's indoors and stuff.
The last scene? Or
it's like the one before where he's like out in the streets and there's like the bus and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
With the top with the whistle or whatever.
Yeah.
And they fit a freaking bus in there somehow.
Exactly.
That makes it feel really big.
Exactly.
Right. And Josh, feel free to jump in with any questions or anything.
You're good, my man. No, I like listening.
We're setting you up for a hopefully you can get some tickets, dude.
Yeah, I'd love to go one year.
Can we talk about this first and put this out there first and foremost? Because we've got two very different experiences on this podcast. So, Dre and Trey, they had Express throughout the length of their visit, right? Yeah. Whereas me and my fiance, every year we do it without Express because we've always been able.
I don't know how you do it.
We've always been able to each year manage to have a good experience without getting Express because we'll usually go for like a large number of days and we're usually able to get everything in. This year, I wish we would have gotten Express. This is the first year in all the years I've gone to Horror Nights where I've actually said we should have gotten Express. Now, we did manage to get everything in. We got every house in 3 times, each house. So we still got a lot in, but a lot of it was because we hit stuff as soon as the rope dropped, and then we'd hit stuff a lot later in the evening and take a big break in between those. But if you are going this year and you have only got 1 night to go, or even if you've only got 2 nights to go, you have to get an Express.
Yeah.
Or you will not see everything, especially from now moving forward. I was looking at the wait times, just browsing Twitter earlier. At 7 o'clock, 30 minutes after the event opened, 7 o'clock, some of the houses were up to like 120-minute wait.
Wow.
So for the rest of this time, it is going to be absolutely insane. So if you are going to Halloween Horror Nights, full disclaimer for anyone listening to this, get Express. You have to get Express unless you have 5 or 6 nights of Halloween Horror Nights and plenty of time to wait in line.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, going back to my earlier call of run being the least, is I actually saw that house at 15 minutes on the wait time, whereas the others were all at least 30 to 40. Kind of judging that based upon everybody else, everybody else's opinion on.
Oh, Body Collectors was like 10 minutes at one point.
That was so strange to me because that was one of the better houses, I thought.
Yeah.
That's in my top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was strange.
All right, so we're at number 7.
7, yeah.
Let's see. I guess I would put Werewolf as my number 7 right now.
Yeah.
We just kind of covered that. So
number 7 for me was probably Asylum in Wonderland.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good, but it was just really campy and funny, and this was the best damn tunnel they've done in any year I've ever been because they had a lot of cool stuff painted on the tunnel with the 3D glasses. It was cool. I mean, I've been through that thing like probably a dozen times, and this year, I don't know, there was something about the stuff that they had painted on it and the lighting, it just really, really worked this year.
Yeah, I about fell over a bunch of times going through that thing, and I usually can not stumble until about the very end, but I was like halfway through and about falling over the rail.
Yeah. Yeah, Asylum in Wonderland is the 3D house that they had this year, Josh, and they'll give you. You've ever been to like the Christmas light places where they have the little? It makes kind of kaleidoscopes your vision a little bit.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking. They have that, and then when you go through, they've got a little, and it kind of just makes everything kind of pop out at you. And first when you go in, the rabbit jumps out at you and has a little saying for you, and then the next thing you go to the next room.
Down.
Yeah, and the next room you go in, it's almost its own little icon for Horror Nights too. Is it's a spinning tube that you walk through. So, and it's got a little bridge over that walks through the middle of this, and the whole room spins around you.
Okay.
And it's all bright and neon, and it's pretty trippy if you don't know the truth.
That'd be cool.
I've never done that, but I think we talked about that before, so maybe it would bring back some memories for you. But
cute.
The spinny tube is going to be the Halloween Horror Nights icon for HHN 26.
Nice.
If only. I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Very nice.
But yeah, and then they have all these bright lights and everything, and the characters kind of with giant faces kind of pop out at you. And it's
I
kind of like it, but it's all based on like Alice in Wonderland and all that kind of good stuff. So
that's pretty wild.
My number 7 is the Purge House. I don't know. I liked it. I mean, kind of. From here up, it kind of gets more difficult because, like, once I got past the werewolf and Walking Dead, they're not bad. They're still, they go from, like, good to amazing, basically, from here on out, in my opinion.
Right.
And, like, for what they had to work with it being, like, Scream, you know, up until whenever they had to change it, they did, like, a really good job with it, I think.
Yeah.
And I like the bit where they had the girl would, like, walk in the line ahead, like, just in the middle of the house, and then, like, one of the characters would, like, grab her and, like, you know, stab her and stuff. I really like I've never seen
you managed to see
I've
that
never
too?
seen anything like that.
Yeah,
every
time
was
we went
awesome.
in, basically.
Yeah,
every time
it was like almost every time. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I only saw it once, and that alone, that was the first time in years that I've seen them do a plant in a house, and that alone is why I put Purge above Asylum in Wonderland, because it was tough kind of like deciding where to put those two, but that plant with them pulling the girl out of line, because it really had me going, because this girl was walking in front of us. She was walking in front of us since like the beginning. I did not see where she input in line anywhere, and then all of a sudden I just see her get yanked out, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I think that was the first time I'd ever seen it.
The
I was
first
my
time,
fiance, and I'm like, dude, they took that chick.
Yeah, first time I saw that, I actually got kind of pissed because I was like, this bitch just cut in line in front of me. I was like looking back at my wife. I was like, what? Did you see this? Then about 10, 15 feet later, she gets yanked out of line, and the dude just stabs her freaking repeatedly. It's a trip, man. Yeah, that was, I don't know, that was a quality thing, because I don't ever remember them adding people to the lines before. Do you, Gary?
I'm trying to remember what house it was. I want to say it was one of the ones at Horror Night 17.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
that
was
was
a while
like
back.
before we went. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say we haven't forgotten anything or anything, have I, Trey?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, we started going at 18, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time, long time. Like I think I was still in my teens the last time I saw that happen in a house. It's been a while.
Yeah, that was a cool little addition, I thought.
Yeah. The thing is like I saw it the first time we went through, and the second time we went through, and then the third time that we went through it, I didn't see it. And the third time we went through was on the last weekend we were there. So I'm wondering if they might have just like they do it some nights, they don't do it some nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
The Purge is actually. Did everybody give their number 7?
Yeah, mine was Asylum.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My number 6 would be The Purge, I guess. Cool start to it, I guess. I like the first couple of rooms, but the thing that threw me off was the guys in SSA or whatever that were they for. I never figured out if they were pro or anti.
Oh yeah, like
SSA. Yeah. The guy in the newsroom, and he would shoot the machine gun with the air pistol in it and everything.
Yeah.
And then the guy, when you go around the corner and he jumps out of the back and he shoots the gun up in the air, like, hey, NSSA. And he shoots
they're essentially the rebellion.
So they were anti-NSSA?
Yeah.
Okay.
So have you seen any of the Purge movies?
I saw the first one, and then I saw the second one kind of double time because we had to get it back to the Red Box before it was due. So fast forwarded to it.
I was like, this part's not important because I saw it like the night before.
Really?
This part's not important.
It's $1, Brock.
So,
It's
I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
I told you I haven't bought any clothes without it being on sale, man.
This man said he had to get the DVD back to the red box, so before the red box time was up, a.k.a. before I was charged an additional $1.
Hey, we had the coupons to begin with.
You had a half off coupon for a red box rental. Is that right?
Half off? Shit, we got free ones, son.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but in that movie's inevitable arrival to Netflix, if you get a chance, watch it through to the end this time, Dre, and that those parts of the house will kind of make sense.
Oh, okay. All right. And
that was my 6 too.
Yeah.
Let's see. What was my 6? My 6 was Run. Like I said, I liked it, but just not as much as the others.
Right. And considering what they went through for the Purge House, I think it probably should be rated higher, to be honest. But, with the whole Scream situation and everything, last minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what they could have done if they had, known it was going to be the Purge the whole way through.
Yeah, no, it really could have amped it up a little more. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. What's your number 5, Trip?
My 5 is Asylum in Wonderland 3D. Probably the best 3D house they've done in recent years. And I know it's cliched to do the whole Alice in Wonderland, but she's crazy, twist on it. But I felt like it was done pretty well.
They pulled it off pretty well.
Yeah, there was that she was in the mental institution at the end, and there were a lot of cool spots. I like the birds in the first room. They're jumping on the trampoline and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be my number 5 as well.
What?
Yeah, this was really hard for me as far as number 5 goes, but Insidious didn't really do it for me, and I really, really liked Run so much, which I already kind of gave my spiel on Run. But Insidious, the things in it don't scare me. Supernatural stuff doesn't really bug me. But, man, it was just so well done, and it was really hard. But I ended up putting Run as my number 5.
Yeah.
All right. Where was Insidious at for you?
Number 4.
Oh, okay. I should have given a... All right, that was your number 4. Just the fact that the actual demon-y type stuff doesn't really.
Yeah, demon-y, supernatural, metaphysical stuff doesn't really bug me. And the red-faced demon guy, I do not find scary at all, but it just scares the shit out of everybody else. But
boys think they're small.
Yeah, exactly. But it was, man, that house was so cool, and there was a lot of really good scare moments, and it had a really cool effect at the end with, you walking through the hallway and people touching you and stuff. And
yeah.
But, it was just hard for me to really get scared by that house, so I ended up putting that as my number 4.
Let's see, what was my 4? My 4 was Freddy versus Jason. Yeah. This top 4 is really, really hard for me because my top 4, I like them almost equally.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of struggling with.
Yeah. Not being a Freddy and Jason movie fan in general, I guess kind of puts it at 4. But I really liked the spots they had in it. They had where you walk through whatever, Freddy's dream world or whatever it is, and it's got the mirrors and the pipes and all that stuff. I really dug that room.
Yeah.
It was really trippy, I guess, but in a different way.
Buff Freddy.
Yeah.
That I loved. Okay, and I guess I put Freddy versus Jason as my number 3, but just to mention Freddy versus Jason here, I loved that house a lot just because I really thought that house was going to be tied just to the Freddy versus Jason movie.
Mm.
Yeah. And the fact that it was not just blew me away. They had my favorite scene from any Nightmare on Elm Street movie where he takes the girl in the mental hospital and shoves her face up into the TV and says, "Welcome to primetime, bitch."
Oh, yeah.
I love that. Me and my fiance were just walking around. Anytime we go through that house for a full hour after going through that house, we'd just be walking around saying, "Welcome to primetime, bitch," because it's just hilarious. And I love that they did all the stuff from, you know, that even everybody loves Dream Warriors, the Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the third movie. And you can tell that the guys who did this house love that movie, too. It's everybody's favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And it showed a lot in this because they had 2 different parts from Dream Warriors, 3 different parts from Dream Warriors in that house, and hardly nothing from the Freddy vs. Jason movie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was awesome.
See, like, I've only seen, like, the first Jason. Well, Jason Takes Manhattan also, but we don't speak of that. Yeah, and like the first Nightmare on Elm Street, so I didn't really know like specifically the scenes and stuff, but like, you know, knowing of it, I feel like they did like a really good job capturing the moments and stuff from it. Like, I felt like I was walking through Freddy versus Jason. You know, it was definitely pulled off better than Alien versus Predator, in my opinion. If we're gonna compare versus houses, because there's actual, you know, Freddy and Jason trying to kill each other. Instead of Alien poking out the wall and Predator doing kung fu on the other side of the room for like no reason.
Kung Fu Predator. There was 2 different parts in the Freddy vs. Jason house that I loved so much. So they actually filmed pieces for it. It looked like on a green screen where you got the part where they're like coming at each other like the actual actors, and then they're like push over to the side, and then it's got like the screen part of them fighting each other, and then you have like a scare coming from the left-hand side because you're distracted looking at this.
Exactly.
And then Freddy will disappear, and then you'll have a scare from the left-hand side. It was pretty sweet. I love that so much.
Yeah, they did a great job. And they must have had, when they hired Jason people, they had to have a prerequisite of being 6'4" and taller, because they had some monstrous dudes in there for...
Oh, my God, those guys were giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually my number 4 too. I don't know if Trey's gonna steal all mine, but
sorry, I'm saying them first.
It was really good, and I've only seen the main, you know, the first couple of each one, but after that, you know, you see highlights from other ones or bits and pieces of the rest of them, but and they did a great job, the makeup or the mask or whatever it is they did with the Freddy guys in this. They did a really good job putting that on.
Oh, yeah, those were good.
Very apparent. You know, you remember, was it the, I think it was the Walking Dead one a couple of years back where it was like they just had the mask on and then you could see like their regular neck, you know? It's like, they didn't do that with these guys. They went all in with this. I don't know if it was like I said, I don't know if it was more makeup or mask or what, but they did a real good job. But the only one I didn't really understand was the Freddy that was like super fat with a sweater.
Oh, super buff Freddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Nightmare on Elm Street 4 or something like that where, I mean, because Freddy can essentially morph into anything he wants to, right?
Right.
And in one of those Nightmare on Elm Street movies, he like gets like super buff, and they pulled that from one of those.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. All right. I'll go for my top 3. And by the way, you're listening to the Gen XYZ podcast. We're doing our Halloween Horror Nights 25 at Universal Orlando review, as 3 of the 4 of us have gone down and gone through the houses multiple times. All of us are Rush of Fear alumni here this year, so we were able to get down there quite a few different times through the houses.
Yep.
And I'm just on the outside looking in.
Yeah, John, like I said, man, offer that lady like $35 a ticket or something and just go, dude. It's a blast. Even if you don't go through all the houses, at least get through 4 or 5 of them. No problem.
Yeah, I mean, even if you get through like 2 or 3 or something like that, it's worth it for that price.
Because they got the scare zones and stuff all strewn throughout the park anyway.
Yeah.
There's and we can go over the scare zones after this too, but And they've got like a couple of shows that you can go, like Bill and Ted. And, I mean,
I didn't bother with them.
I don't really like them, to be honest, but they've also got a huge Jack the Clown show that was really good. I kind of liked it. But yeah, we'll get to that stuff. But my number 3 would be the Body Collector's House.
God dang it! Quit stealing my stuff.
This one, man,
my gosh.
And this one honestly pushed for higher on a couple of occasions that we went through.
Yeah, that's my number 2.
Okay. And this was it's not a remake. I guess it's a reboot. I guess a reimagining of an earlier house. I guess, or is it it's because they've had a Body Collector's people coming through before, but never to this extent anyway that I can think of. But man,
wasn't there one at 18, a Body Collector's House?
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was, but.
Yeah, there's been 3 different Body Collector's House, and I think this is the 4th one.
Yeah. Was that with the Nightingales or whatever? Was that? Or am I thinking of something else?
Nightingales are like those military.
Right.
Or, yeah.
The nurses and stuff, I know, but
oh, yeah.
I don't know if they were a part of
World War One.
I don't know if they were a part of the Klan or not. The Body Collector's Klan, that is.
Yeah.
Not the Ku Klux type. But anyway.
I see what you did there.
That first room that you go, it gets you right off the jump, dude, in this house. When you go in, it's kind of this creepy old mansion-y type house or whatever, and it's the Shady Brook Asylum, I guess. And you go through the house, and there's a body laying in the fireplace, and then you go to the next house, and there's one of the nurses or whatever. There's a curtainy room off to the side as you walk by, and this chick just comes out and has this huge piercing scream right as you. I mean, obviously it's recorded, but they hit it and it screams, and it got me several times, man. It was really good. And anything the Body Collector dude like slices her throat.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. And they had a whole the medical not examination room, but like the school, like they're learning how to.
A spine rip scene.
Yeah. Had the lady on the medical table, and all the different body collectors are sitting around like doctors looking down at it, and he's ripping out her spine and everything. It was, dude, it was.
It's like
really
a brain surgery observation, but he's ripping out a spine.
Yeah,
right.
They had that effect in the last Body Collector's House a few years back, and it was awesome then. And I'm so happy they brought it back.
Yeah, that was one of the few things that I remember from the first year that I went. I don't remember a thing from 18, but I do remember that, and I was super stoked. I kind of marked out a little bit when I saw it.
Yeah,
because that was one of my favorite parts from that.
I was surprised all the body collectors that were sitting in the stands were all mannequins or dummies or whatever. I figured they would have one or two that were live to try, jump at you or whatever. But
yeah, I saw that
one come out the side, but.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit of a missed opportunity myself.
Yeah. Now, it was weird. We went through one. I don't think you were with us that time, Trey, but we went through one time, and they didn't even have a table in there.
Yeah, they were like wheeling it out.
They were like
one time,
just replacing it that one time. That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know they needed a replacement for it, to be honest. But so that was your 3 also, Trey?
Yeah, I like the atmosphere that it said. Like, as soon as you walk in the front door, you're like, okay, I'm in this old asylum thing. You got
snowing.
That's snowing. You got the old-timey turntable to the right. It really set up a great atmosphere, and that's one of the things that are important to me personally. Because you can have jump scares all over the place, and it doesn't matter. But if you set up a great atmosphere, that like lends itself to scares and stuff, that's more important to me than most other stuff. And I just like scenery and stuff.
Yeah, just the elaborate set that they had for it. I mean, it looks like you're actually going into an old house. I mean, it's so crazy. And they do the best with the weather type situation. You know, inside weather stuff is some of the best with the fake snow, and it's the really cold air and everything. And
they have like thunder and lightning, and they have like the big spotlight go off.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job with that. They should certainly be commended for all that.
Yeah.
What was your bronze medal winner there, Gary?
My bronze medal winner was Freddy versus Jason, but already gave my spiel on that. Just wanted to ask you guys a question. Did you guys see both of the different endings at the end of Freddy versus Jason house?
As far as the scare at the end, or
it's the scare at the end, but it's different depending on when you go through it. So there's two different ways that house can end. One where Freddy wins and one where Jason wins.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys caught both?
Mhm.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I saw him come out. Each one come out. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So Freddy,
I think we saw Freddy come out more times in my personal experience.
Yeah. So Freddy will come out holding Jason's mask, and Jason will come out holding Freddy's severed head.
Right. I'll be honest, we didn't get to go on that one as much, because even the Express, it was in the for people that go, it's in the Twister queue. And there was actually, and it winds through there, and then it winds through between the two sets or film lots and everything in the back sound stages, and winds all the way between the two big sound stages in the back. And it was actually, the Express line was actually back up to where the cow is, basically on the Twister queue. So we were like,
yeah,
maybe we'll come back.
We'll check it later.
This year, and I guess I'll mention this before we get into our silver and gold medalists, but this year I feel like there was a significant issue with them being able to accurately calculate wait times for the regular queues, just because I don't think that there's any rhyme or reason for how Express is filtered through into the houses. And I think some houses were doing it right, and some houses were doing it just kind of however. So the logical thing to do would be that you let X amount of Express come through, then you let X amount of regular come through. What I observed in a lot of the houses was that they would literally, and even if it took like 10 or 15 minutes to do so, they would empty the Express queue line on when the Express queue lines were kind of shorter, but still like kind of long.
Right.
Let's say they would normally let through 10 Express, 10 regular, right? Mm-hmm. If there were only 20 or 30 people total in the Express, they would empty those 20 or 30 people at a time in before the regular line would go.
Right.
Really?
Total. So I think that they should really either kind of adhere to some sort of like formula and how that goes in order to allow them to properly calculate the wait times, and then that gives a more enjoyable experience for both sets of folks who are going, and again lets them give a better idea of how to calculate those wait times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Some of them you went through super quick with Express, like you're saying. I don't know if it was just a timing thing or they were emptying it out. Honestly, I feel like they should empty the Express queue out faster, just because you paid so much freaking extra. I know that doesn't help. I feel your glares from the non-Express.
Okay, put it on the poor people, Dre. No, I totally get that too. You're paying a ton extra more, especially this year, paying a ton extra more for Express. Yeah. I totally get that, but at the same time, it's like you have a smaller contingency of people that are getting Express, and the line filters into the regular line a lot quicker, like a lot closer to the entrance to the house than the regular line does anyway. So still, even with Express, you're still going to cut your wait time down to, a fifth of what it would be for the standard. And right. I think that's an appropriate amount of time, even though you paid a premium. But to have some sort of formula in place to make it consistent, to know what you can expect. Right. To where, you're getting that premium experience for paying more, but, it's not completely shitting on the other people who didn't get Express too.
Right. And Josh, by the way, if you do go, after 10 o'clock, they sell Express passes for half price. But...
Were you able to confirm that, Dre? Because I never asked about it while I was down there, but I heard that too.
I actually heard the vendors saying it, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
They would literally say, half price Express passes, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, that would have been nice because we heard that they weren't doing that, so we didn't even try to pursue it. What me and Molly tried to do is, our last 3 days we were there, we were going to ask them if we could buy Express at a prorated rate, right? Because I would pay the $150 per person, or $150 per person to do it for the whole length of our Rush of Fear pass. Mm-hmm. But if I've only got 3 nights left to do Halloween Horror Nights, I'm not going to pay a full $150 per person to do that. $300, that's $100, per night essentially. So I didn't want to do that. So I went to guest service and I asked them, I was like, hey, will we be able to purchase the Express for the remainder of our Rush of Fear at a prorated rate? And they're like, no, absolutely not. We're definitely not going to do that. So if we would have known that they were definitely doing the, $35 or $40 Express after 10, we probably would have done that one of the nights we were there just to get some extra stuff in, but neither here nor there.
And then the other deal that they were doing is if you get the Rush of Fear before your pass expires, you can change it to the frequent fear, which is any Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, correct?
Wednesday, Thursday, they offered, so here's the deal that they offered us. They offered us one of the, upgrade barkers next to Men in Black. The lady told us that we could upgrade to Frequent Fear Plus, which includes every day of Halloween Horror Nights except Saturdays, right?
Right.
And for annual pass holder upgrading from a Rush of Fear, it would have only been $26-something per person for us to do that.
Wow.
Which is a hell of a good deal, even if you only go once. But we ultimately passed on it because we couldn't figure out if we'd ever go. I called to try to see if we could do that because I kind of changed my mind, and it was only if we were there. So you had to do it before the Rush of Fear Pass ran up. So if you have a Rush of Fear Pass and you're wanting to upgrade to do that, if you're listening to this, sorry, they're not going to let you do it.
Right. Yeah, because that way you get the first 3 full weekends plus you get, the whole rest of the time except for Saturdays after that, the whole rest of the time. So it's for only, $26, like you said?
Yeah, which is a hell of a deal, even if you only go once, but I don't have any more time off. Yeah, I mean, my time off is locked in for the rest of this year. I don't have any more time I could take off, so there would have been no opportunity for us to even be able to go because, I mean, unless we just went on, left right after work, went late on a Friday or something like that.
Right. Give it a, see what you can come up with. Plus, with all this insight, and we can give you, anybody thinking about going to Horror Nights, here's the deal. When you start out, don't worry about the whole, go to the ones in the back first. It just works out to work out that way. But whatever you do, whatever houses you go to first, make sure you go, when you do Walking Dead, make sure you do Walking Dead first before you do Purge.
Or just don't do it at all.
Yeah.
If you do Walking Dead, your exit is right there next to the Purge entrance or line. And then when you get done with the Purge, your exit is right there at Insidious. So it saves you a lot of steps instead of if you do Purge first or do Insidious first. you got a lot of extra walking you got to do, and it just saves you a lot of time. Especially if you're a non-express person, you want to save as much time as you can.
And then after you finish Insidious and you walk to the back, where like Harry Potter and the Run House is, you walk by the Men in Black gift shop, and that AC blasts you with its gracious loveliness, and it's so nice and cool.
And then you can
my gosh.
Then you can do the 5-minute wait for Men in Black and ride that.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah. And Dre, that's some really good advice too, because us without Express, the way that they laid out Purge, The Walking Dead, and Insidious, that allowed us to get those houses in multiple times. Like if you hit that right at the beginning, you hit Walking Dead, go through it, then run back around to Kid Zone, hit Purge, and then run back around, and you could get those 3 houses in with minimal wait at the very beginning of the event. Like within the first hour, you've got 3 houses out of the way without Express.
Right. And
I don't know.
If you wait like too long, that Insidious house, it piles up real quick too.
Yeah, and I was just going to say is that I don't even know if that's even still going to be possible to do with the event moving forward, because these wait times that I saw and have been seeing tonight are batshit crazy. I mean, is just nuts. So I mean, that strategy might still work with some minimal wait time, but you might be waiting in line a little bit more than you would have a couple of weeks ago. That's for sure.
Yeah. Insidious it was 2 hours at least once or twice when we went, wasn't it, Trey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was like a 170. Was it 170?
Yeah, I think so.
120.
120. Yeah.
Something in the one something. It was
120 on Saturday night.
Okay. It was. I'm hearing it was 120 on Saturday night. That's my insider source.
My sources say.
Would you guys like to know what they are now? You're gonna freaking have a heart attack. I'm looking at the app right now. Okay, get this. The Walking Dead, which has been, from what I've observed, one of the least popular houses throughout the event, believe it or not, and we'll get on that here in just a second because I have a question for you guys on that, is 80 minutes right now. The Purge is 130 minutes.
No way.
Gosh.
Yeah, Monsters and Mayhem is 90 minutes. Insidious is 140 minutes. Freddy vs. Jason is 105 minutes.
My gosh.
Sorry. Me and my fiance, we called it Bobby Collectors the whole time we were there because it was funny. Anyways, 60 minutes right now.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, Asylum in Wonderland is 60 minutes right now. And for you guys who have been there, you're not going to believe this next one, but American Werewolf of London is 60 minutes right now also.
Really?
I don't think I saw that house get over like 25 minutes the whole time I was there.
Yeah, I think 30 was like the biggest one I saw.
Yeah, it was also 15 minutes sometimes.
Yeah,
Run says it's delayed. I don't know what that's about.
Weird. Well, I mean, the Freddy vs. Jason and all the IPs, that's what draws in a lot of the just fanboys of Halloween Horror Nights like we are.
The casuals.
Yeah, the
casuals.
The people who are Walking Dead
subhuman
fans they're just going to go to see Walking Dead, so they're all going to, we got to go see that one, or Freddy vs. Jason. That one was probably the longest wait, even more so than Insidious for us, because of the way, like I said, the express line was just way longer on Freddy vs. Jason than it was for Insidious. Now, there was a time where Insidious, when we went, and it was probably, and for people that don't know what the line queues are set up like, but it loops around about, 3 times for about a 100-yard stretch, maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, pretty close to that.
And it was, so you got all that, and then you had about probably 50 yards more or so up the entrance ramp, and it was all the way up to there for Express.
And beyond, too.
Yeah.
And beyond.
Yeah. It was almost
so we were
almost
kind of
like 400 yards of waiting, almost.
Yeah.
At one
we were
point.
kind of like, well, let's just go hit Men in Black real quick and walk around for a few minutes. And we came back, and it was probably down to a third of that from what it was, or even half or less. I mean, it was you almost practically walked on. I think people kind of freak out when they see lines like that, and then they just are like, "No, we're not going to go. Let's do something else." And nobody goes for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you got to kind of pick and choose a little bit sometimes on what you do. But the people that were checking Express line, they actually told us that it's usually half of what the Express is usually half of what the regular line is, and I was kind of like,
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so. And we even had them one time where they said, "Oh, it was real short one time," and we went Express, and it's the same either way. So just if you want to use your Express, go ahead. If not, dude, I was so. We were talking to each other, and it was like I would have been livid if I would have gone on the regular line because it was probably twice what the Express line was.
No, we walked on basically in the Express line.
Yeah,
that time.
And it was a big line. It was probably 300 or 400 people in the regular line. I don't know what in the world. I don't know if they were just trying to send the Express line. I don't understand what they were doing, to be completely honest. But like I said, I would have been pissed if I would have gone to the regular line. That I'll just save my Express for later.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know why. I mean, the only reason you would save your Express is like when we would go for the annual pass holder event and get in early for that, and there would be practically no line to begin with. We would save it and go Express, later in the night. That would be the only time we would do that. But I don't know. So, but that's a few little tips to look out for if you're a noob going down to Horror Nights. All right. Have we all given our bronze medal? Both body collectors, and you were Freddy versus Jason there, Gary?
Yep. After we get through with our silver and gold, I have a question to ask you guys about The Walking Dead. We'll get to that here in a bit, though.
Okay.
All right, Trey, what's your silver?
My silver is going to, let me make sure I wrote this the right way. Hold on. Insidious is my number 2.
Okay.
Being like a pretty big fan of the movies in general, it really captured like that, again, the atmosphere, and it had like the scares were done in the same way that the movie does it too. Like sometimes there's kind of that delay from when you expect the scare to come up, and it did a really good job of doing that. It had like a wide variety of characters. It even had like the respirator guy from the 3rd movie that just came out. I thought it was really good. Other than those like mannequins and like where they're sitting in the circle trying to call on the spirits and stuff, those looked really fake. But other than that, I thought it was really good.
What looked really fake?
When
it sounds like a seance.
Yeah, when
there's
yeah, that looks kind of silly, but yeah, wasn't exactly the most convincing mannequins they had there.
Right.
Yeah, but other than that, it was really good, in my opinion. Obviously, because I put it number 2.
Right. My number 2. 25 years of Monsters and Mayhem.
What? How did you put that at number 2?
Dude,
shocker.
I loved it.
Bracket buster.
Don't
The
get
bracket
me wrong,
buster.
but I think it's kind of a little bit of cheating just because they put so many major pieces into one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get your point.
Yeah. I love it. Don't get me wrong.
It's stupid, but I get it.
It would be. We could call it a 1B if you'd like, if that would make you feel better.
Well, these top 3, it's so hard to pick. I mean,
yeah.
Even the top 4 for me personally is tough to pick.
Yeah, because I mean, Insidious was really good, but I mean, again, it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I can see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it from a perspective of like, how do you build a badass Halloween Horror Nights house? Insidious freaking nailed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just because it was hard for me to put it up there, just because those movies that don't faze me at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the throwback kind of thing that they had with the Monsters of Mayhem. They the whole Gothic scene in the house with the gargoyle and the statue and everything. That was awesome again.
Yeah.
They had the whole scene where it was you see the place down below and it looks like it's a huge drop, and they use their visual effects.
A big chapel type thing.
Well,
yeah.
we talked about Insidious, and we've already kind of talked about Body Collectors, which Dre, I'm guessing, is your number one. Right? That's all that's left, right?
Insidious is my number one.
Oh, Insidious is your number one? Okay.
Yeah.
So well, I guess we can go ahead and talk about 25 years now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, because, man, that house was just so damn good.
It's awesome.
It really was.
Those nightingales, they scared the shit out of me. I'm a grown-ass man, right? And the nightingales, they get me. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like the beady eyes and this face made of teeth. It's just, I love that house so much.
Yeah,
there's something for everybody, so it's kind of hard to not like it, If you like the classic monsters, those are in there. If you like...
they did that so well, too. Like,
they really
dude, Phantom of the Opera got my ass, like, several times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of that that organ scared me.
when I heard that, I was expecting when I heard the whole organ thing, I thought we were walking into the Gothic part of the house. I was like, oh shit, this is Gothic awesome. Because they used that organ thing in the Gothic house a few years back. Whenever the guy would fly over the top, I was like, oh shit, it's coming up on Gothic. And then it was Classic Monsters. I was like, oh, okay, well it's not Gothic, but this is still really awesome.
Yeah, it was good. And then the one part that didn't really get me was the next scene with the Hunchback and the mummy. They didn't really.
No, you know what got me so good in that part with the mummy? So you're forced to look down that hallway where the sarcophagus is at the bottom, right? And you're like, oh shit, well, a mummy's going to pop out of that. Nope, here comes Cindy popping out of that thing.
Oh, yeah.
I love seeing those obscure characters like that. It just makes my day.
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't expecting.
I liked how Jack was kind of interspersed throughout the house, just kind of randomly, almost.
Yeah, and his scare was so simple, too. Like, he just popped in, boo! It was like, oh, shit, you got me. It was so simple.
Well,
yeah,
did
it
you
was
guys
great.
notice early on, it was kind of like, they kind of like had different layers of Jack, where like early on, like the first couple of weeks, it was kind of like a progression of Jack each time. It was kind of like he would kind of progress throughout his life into the full.
Like he kind of had like his his clown costume at one point, and then he had like his ringleader kind of gimmick going another time. Yeah. Yeah,
I loved how they did that.
But then I noticed the last time a couple of times we went through, it was all just full on Jack. Unless I missed them, I don't know. But I thought they were all regular Jack from then on.
No, I noticed that too. Like the last time that we went through it on Sunday was there was also one Jack in there that didn't even have a full mask. Like I don't know what that was all about. It was kind of like a emo Jack. It was really weird to see. I was like, that is really out of place.
Jack during his teenage years.
Yeah, Jack during his edgy teenage years.
His years of teenage angst and rebellion.
I don't want to be a clown. I want to be a mime.
That was the Jack that listens to The Cure versus like Megadeth.
My Chemical Romance.
I love that house and I liked the let's see, what was the Santa Claus room or whatever the Christmas room.
The HR Blood and Guts room?
Yeah. Well, see, now somebody was saying that was I was reading on the Facebook group about, they were kind of saying that was some Home for the Holidays house or something.
Well, yeah. See, the thing is that it was kind of hard to determine what exactly that room was because it could have been two different things. It could have been Psychoscarapy Home for the Holidays, which was like a very Christmassy focused version of Psychoscarapy that they did. Or it could have been HR Blood and Guts, the holidays one that they did.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
so
See, I remember that one. So
it seemed like a lot of the rooms were focused on like more recent houses, because I almost recognized all of them, almost all, or if not all of them. So I kind of just assumed that was the HR Blood and Guts.
Yeah, the classic Universal Monsters one was definitely focused towards like the really, really old, earlier events. You could tell, because it wasn't like, because the closest thing to classic Universal Monsters we've got in recent years is that one house that was like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
The black and white one.
Yeah, and supposedly that was a house that was supposed to be something else that got changed last minute.
Yeah, what was that? I forget what that was supposed to be. But that was a cool house, though. I like the concept behind that one.
Yeah, I liked it, too. I wasn't a huge fan of some of the masks, but the concept was really good. Like, especially it had that one room where you walk through, like, all the film strips hanging down. Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah. But this Monsters of Mayhem was almost like from 19, where they did the Silver Screams. Like, it had those classic monsters, and then it had, like, Shaun of the Dead, you know, Evil Dead, that kind of stuff. My Bloody Valentine, except this was, you know,
my fans and hockey man.
Horror Night stuff, yeah. I don't know. I like that.
And they even had Jack in that one, too, at the very end, if you remember.
Was it that 19. One? Or was that 20?
I think that was Hollow Pass you're thinking of.
No, was it 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a cool one, too.
Yeah, I remember that. It was the same building, wasn't it? Where they had the Walking Dead the last
I think
so.
Years. I think so. Yeah. But this house was really good, though. I liked it. It had that cool part from the Forsaken, the pirate, what was it, Christopher Columbus's boat or whatever.
Oh yeah,
and
that was
all
really cool.
Slanted and stuff. I really like that with the slanted.
I don't know how more people
all that.
fall over. As drunk as some of those people get, I'm surprised more people didn't fall over on that.
My ass fell over on it, and I was sober.
Another memorable moment was the spot, the caretaker's room, where he's got like the casket on one side, and then you've got what looks like the empty seats all the way down, and it looks like a giant mirror, and he's hiding behind it with, he's got like the clamp thing or whatever. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It took me a couple times to realize that was a giant mirror.
Yeah, because it goes top floor to floor to roof, or ceiling.
Yeah.
But he steps right out and gets your ass.
Yep.
Yeah, that they went, like I said, they went all out, and even then, that soundstage is so big that when you're walking out, it's such a big exit or hallway or whatever that you're kind of like, man, why didn't they put more stuff? Yeah, plenty of room.
For real.
Yeah, dude, it was just a fantastic guy, and it was good enough to be the top house at almost any year that they've had, man. Not just because it's everything that they've, highlights from what they've done before, but just executed almost perfectly throughout the whole house.
Other than Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare.
Oh, yeah, except for that one.
You love that house.
Dude, it's so freaking good.
That house, I mean, I'll be honest, when I first went in, I thought, man, this blows. And then we went into more and more, and the more you went in, the better that house got. It was very, I don't know, it just improved so much every time you went in. It got better and better.
Yeah. It's the house that turned me on to Alice Cooper. No homo. His music.
Turned you on to Alice Cooper?
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. I mean, it wasn't the most memorable house to me that year, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I think what really impressed me about that house is I think that was the first real utilization of those pop-up tents, and that year, and that's what kind of blew me away and probably took a lot of it away from me to be honest, is that I was focused on, all right, cool, they're using these tents, let's see how they make this happen, and I think I was probably way too focused on that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. I think that was the first one that they used, at least in Orlando, that I know of anyway. Like I said, I don't know about the earlier years, but at least for the past 8, at least that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, that's one of the last ones that used like real music type for a scare house, for a haunted house type thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now I know did they have an Ozzy one or Black Sabbath one in Hollywood?
Yeah, and supposedly that one was really good. I really thought we would get that one the following year, but we didn't.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if they haven't done it before, I don't think, but I think the Metallica house could be pretty cool too.
I think that could probably work.
You know, the Enter Sandman or the freaking video from one would freak me out by itself. So
yeah, it's true.
That guy and the soldier or whatever that's shaking doing shaky cam stuff, you know.
Yeah, I think they could probably do a lot with Iron Maiden stuff too, because there's a lot of like visual imagery with Eddie and stuff like that. Speaking of Eddie, did anybody notice that Eddie had his own like kind of banner at the very beginning of the 25 Years of Monsters of Mayhem?
Yeah.
That was awesome. I love that so much, and I don't want to spoil the ending of that house for anybody, but I fangirled a little bit of that because I love Eddie so much. Spoiler alert! Shit, I just spoiled it. But anyways, yeah, I fangirled at the end of that house because I was like, oh, holy shit! When we went through there, I'm like, there he is. Like I wanted to get a picture, but man, it's like it's chaotic there. And then they have Meaty Meats there too, which is awesome with his chainsaw. So that's cool.
Yeah,
love that house.
it was great, dude. Well, did everybody get their number 2 in?
Number 2, I think we got our 2 and 1 basically. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, Monsters of Mayhem was one for me and Gary, or Gary and I, us, whichever.
What was your 2, Trey? Insidious and Gary,
Bobby Collectors.
Okay. Yeah, my one was Insidious. Obviously, just probably because I just really dig especially the first movie. Second one was pretty good, and then I didn't even see the third one. But
third one's not bad for a third installment for a movie. I mean, it's definitely not the same as the first 2, but I mean, first movie it's not bad.
That's where they got the respirator guys, right?
Yeah.
The old guys. That they utilized really well in the little hallway with the doors. They got you good.
He sounded like he had weight to him, which he does in the movie. Like he sounds like he's heavier than he looks, and then they like utilize that really well in the house too. Like when he took that step, you heard a thud, you know, to get you.
Right. And then, like we said, the sets that they used from the house. I mean, it was probably spot on with even the outside of the house. You know, looked a lot like the house from the movie itself as you go in, and then the rooms as you go in. Is there's obviously scenes that are vital to have in a house that's based on Insidious, and they really, really pulled it off well. The nursery scene, I mean, that freaky guy that he walks by in the movie pops out at you as you walk through the nursery, pops out at you on the side, and then, red-faced demon guy pops out at you from the other side. It was just so well done, and the demon guys are just freaky enough. But not only that, the use of the strobe light effect walking through, and then the guys coming out at you and everything, and then after the use of the curtains and the placement of the scare spots, like when you pull the curtain back in most of these places, if you're not ready for it, you're going to be really freaking scared when you pull the curtain back as you go into the next room. And it got me a couple of times. It got my wife. There was one time we went through, and she was like literally screaming loud. And she'll maybe have 1 or 2 scream times where she gets that scared. But there was one time we walked through, and it was the entire time. It was just perfectly timed out to where they scared the crap out of her several times, man. It was fantastic. And then they kind of changed up the ending a little bit a couple times, where you had the last sort of scare that you have changed up two or three times, I believe, as you walk through the several times that we went through. So not only did they do a fantastic job of pulling it off to begin with, they continued to put thought into it to change things up throughout the time, each time that we went in almost.
Yeah.
So I love that. And like we mentioned, going in through the further where it's pretty much completely dark and the walls are pushing in towards you, and I don't know if it was actual people behind the fabric, or if there was just kind of like a shiatsu massager in there or something.
I think that's what it was.
But it was cool. And then the little Tiptoe Through the Tulip song playing when you walk through the hallway, and you look over. Did you ever notice on the left, Gary, they had the big red-faced demon behind that pane of glass, and he would walk kind of behind the glass, kind of like when in the first movie when he goes in and finds his kid, and the big demon, you see him kind of walking around through there. That was really cool. It wasn't every time, but he was there a couple times.
Yeah, it was sporadic. Yeah.
No, I don't think I saw that. And the 3 times that we went through there, I don't think I saw that.
Yep, he was in there, and it was just an awesome, from top to bottom, consistently had fantastic scares, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, just the whole aesthetic part of the house and pulling information in from the movie and interpreting it to a scare zone or to a house, man. They just did a knockout job with it, and that's why it's my number one.
Yeah, and some of that stuff, I think maybe if I had seen the second and third movies, I've only seen the first one. Maybe if I had seen the second and third movie, some of that stuff wouldn't have been as lost on me, and I might have been able to rate it a little bit higher. But that house was really cool. I can see where that is. There was a lot of love put into putting that house together, and they did it really well from the material I saw in the first movie, anyways. But
right,
I know that is a scary ass house for tons of people, and that alone is, I think it's deserving of a top spot on tons of people's lists. Just because it might not be for me, it's overall the set pieces were fantastic. The facade was probably one of the best looking facades I've seen. The house and everything. Was
right. Great. Yeah, it was great, man.
I think the house itself was from the second movie, right? Because like the first 2 houses that they move into in the first movie, they were kind of more modern looking houses, and they move into this like older, scary looking antique house.
I thought the first one had the big porch and everything when they were sitting outside and talking about it.
Oh yeah.
And they had the upstairs porch too, where the nursery was. I mean, they couldn't do an exact replica of the
Right.
Probably just kind of a 1 and 2. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was from the second movie, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't really pay much attention.
I don't know. The only thing missing was the little kid in the short pants that was dancing to Tiptoe Through the Tulips. If they could have gotten somebody to do that, it might have been the perfect house. But
stupid child labor laws.
Kid's got a little person.
Yeah, but so that's pretty much the houses. Like I said, from 4 on up, it's pretty much just a grab bag of, just draw a name out of a hat. You really can argue either way for it to be from 4 to 1, to be completely honest.
Yeah, it's the hardest, some of the hardest decision making I've ever had to make.
Yeah. How about talk about the Jack show real quick, I guess.
Too much dancing. Not enough killing. No, I really loved the show. I thought it was really good. Some of the dancing parts were a little weird just because, I don't know, I'm not one for theatrics, but I get that they had to fill some space somewhere to, make it a full, 20-minute show.
Right.
But it was cool. It was very reminiscent of old Jack, theatrics stage show type deal, and there was some cool magic trick illusion type stuff that I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I managed to watch it from start to finish twice, and it was good. I liked it, and I loved how they made cracks at every, and this kind of alludes to the question I'll ask her in a little bit about The Walking Dead. Everybody's sick of The Walking Dead, even the damn Horror Nights team, and you could tell that because they made jokes about it in the Jack show, but they know that they have to do it because, like I said the last time that we talked on here, Walking Dead brings asses through the gates. But that they made cracks about it in that Jack show, it brought a smile to my face, and some of the jokes that they made about, I think Twister's on the chopping block, and I think, they kind of alluded a little bit to that in this Jack show. There's one point where he says, we found so-and-so in line for Twister, and since you like things slow and painful, we figured you'd like this, and then yada yada. So I really liked the show. What did you guys think about it?
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't watch it from beginning to end. We watched probably the first 10 to 12 minutes or so, and then kind of caught the rest of it as we would walk by later on. Just kind of watch for a few minutes and then catch it at the end, seeing the guy, They did a great job with using the
sorry about that.
That's all right. Using Chance and everything as well, using her throwing the knife. I mean, I know she's not actually throwing the knives and stuff, but
what?
They did. It was cool, man. I mean, they did a really good job with it. The dude, or the boyfriend of the guy that was or fiance or whatever, was gonna help rescue her, and he ends up getting blended up in a huge blender or whatever.
Which that's a callback from the old Jack show that they did years ago.
Oh,
that blender. And they make a joke about it too. It's like it's old but a goodie or something like that, and because they used it in the Jack show years ago.
Yeah. So, and they, I like it. It's a good line center, I guess you could say too, because you get 200 or 300 people watching that for 20-30 minutes or whatever it was. Plus, Rat Lady was there too, so that's always fun to check out Rat Lady for a couple minutes. Not in the show, but she was next to it. I'll put it that way. Usually,
I didn't see the show, so I don't really know too much. Yeah. I just kind of thought in passing. I don't know. I don't really care about the shows in general. I mean,
well, check it out on YouTube. There's some funny parts and stuff in there.
Yeah, Bill and Ted. I'll be honest. I don't. We went to it once in 8 years, so.
I love the Bill and Ted show. I loved it, and it was so good this year.
Was it?
Yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah, they made so many pop shots at Disney. It was great.
Did they tone it down like they were talking about they were going to do, or no?
No, they definitely did not tone it down.
Okay.
There wasn't anything that was really taboo. I love that they brought James Cameron back, because they brought James Cameron into the mix back when Avatar was really big, and had him basically obsessed with having sex with their tails. And there was a lot of callbacks, which is beautiful about this show. There was tons of callbacks to, shows in the past and Horror Nights in the past, and just stuff going on in between Universal and Disney and all that stuff. It was great. I loved it so much.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Scare zones, how would you guys kind of rate those? I would probably say is the chainsaw orange clad ladies, was that the Mel's All Night Die-In or whatever, where they kind of brought different people in? Those kind of the orange ladies and the jail ladies, and then they would have the crazy dudes with them with the chainsaws. That would be my last one because I'm chainsaws, by the way.
I like looking at the old dude who looks like he used to be a hippie back in the day with the chainsaw.
That's gonna be me. Like, I'm gonna retire and then just during haunt season, I'm just gonna be a chainsaw guy at Universal.
That is. I mean, it is funny that they use the same people over and over again.
And he was in the same spot like every time.
Yeah.
Right in front of Transformers.
Yep.
The clowns over in the Simpsons area, that was almost like a bonus scare zone that we didn't really know about.
Yeah,
I mean, even though it wasn't really themed, it was just, tons of clowns with chainsaws. It was pretty cool. It was almost like a bonus scare zone. That was fun. Me and my fiance, we sat there for a little bit and watched people get the crap scared out of them. And
yeah,
it was a nice little bonus.
I didn't mind the clown scare zones just because clowns are scary as frick anyway for most people, so that's more enjoyable to me than just the people walking around that look creepy a little bit with chainsaws.
But it kind of fits into the theme too, with it being Jack and all that.
Right. So the best scares though that they get with the clowns. This chick clown was walking around and she would walk up, and it's weird how you're able to walk right up to people, couples now walking together, but you don't notice another person walking either with you, or if you're standing there, someone else walking up to you. You don't really notice it. But anyway, this couple was walking, and the girl clown had like a little honky, that kind of horn.
Like a horn.
And she would walk up and stick it right between the people, and right in this person's ear, they would go, they would jump so freaking big, man. But it's the subtle things that make you jump or better scares to me than the chainsaws even. But just the clowns themselves just seeing the clowns is scarier and more enjoyable, I guess, to me to see than the other people, to be honest. But I like the addition of that, and it kind of fit too because it's with all the Simpsons stuff around, it kind of
It's like
they're not clowns, but I mean obviously you got what's his name,
Krusty
the Clown, yeah. But anyway, then I would kind of go the Scream Punk. I mean, it was okay. The Scary Tales. I mean, I get it, but it
wasn't scary. It was kind of more cool than scary.
I mean, they would jump at you a little bit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I like to call that one the public domain scare zone.
Yeah.
I feel like that one, so, and I don't know if we're actually rating the scare zones, but I feel like the one over in the Central Park area where it was like the Grown Evil or What Evil's Taking Root or whatever scare zone, I feel like that's the only one that actually worked effectively as a scare zone because the shit was just crazy dark, tons of fog.
Yeah.
Those guys were in your face. The All Night Die-In scare zone, it was awesome. The black and white, the casting for the black and white shift was just perfect. The casting, the makeup, the costuming was just great. Now, when that switched over to the contemporary characters, it turned into Selfie Zone. And it wasn't really, it was Scare Zone at that point. It was just tons of people trying to get selfies. Oh, I want a selfie with Chucky, or I want a selfie with Jason, or Freddy, or, and it just kind of, it just really took away from the effect of it actually feeling like a Scare Zone. Same kind of happened for the Icons area, but the Icons area was awesome because there were kind of like mini shows within that area.
Yeah.
And there was tons of like callbacks. That was kind of like almost like the Hollowed Pass scare zone. There were characters in there, you know, like sub-characters from each year within there as well. And even like sub-icons, you know, the shittier ones like Lady Luck, because she was terrible. And that year sucked. But it was cool.
All right.
It was cool to see kind of like those sub icons from those years within that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I like how the usher basically killed a dude with a flashlight. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. Just like you said, you could get pictures with them, but they're out of the way. They're on the little stages, so they're kind of out of the way. It doesn't really detract from the other people going around and trying to scare people in the area too. And I liked the Psychoscarapy Unleashed. I mean, that was the most unique, most original scare zone I've seen in the 8 years that we've gone, just because the people would interact with you so much more in this one. It was really cool. Because there's... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I love that scare zone was so huge, and there was so much talent in that scare zone that it was enjoyable every time you walked through it. Mm-hmm. Just with the lighting and the characters and the sound effects and even the effects of the projections up in the windows of people being killed in the windows up in the streets of New York and stuff. Cool. It was awesome. Me and my fiance, we went down the side street, which is like Delancey Street or whatever, where the cop car is. Mm-hmm. And we spent one night we just literally just sat there on a stoop. It was raining. We were it wasn't raining. Wasn't raining hard enough for them to take the characters off the street. Mm-hmm. But we were just sitting up there in the stoop. We sat there for probably like an hour and just watched people get scared and stuff, because it was the people in there. There's just a lot of talent.
Yeah, and then even behind the like Transformers up to Monsters Cafe and everything, kind of that area. They would walk up, like that was where they walked up to you. Remember, Trey, with you and your chick, and it was carrying a fake foot in his hand, and he's like, "Foot fetish." And then she's like, "No," and he's like, "Well, what else did he say?"
He was like, flower or flowers.
Flower? And he was like, foot fetish?
And he was like, foot fetish. He like flipped it around. It was a big old foot.
Because then he went up to our daughter, who's only 12 or 13 or whatever, and it's like he didn't say foot fetish.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because he, that's a little freaky to say to a youngster.
Yeah.
So he just said something about smelly or something like that. I don't remember what he said. And then he said flower. And so they definitely work it to where they don't say the same thing over and over again, no matter what. So,
yeah, it took me a few times. It took me a few times to walk it through there to really understand the story that was going on there. Like when I walked through there, at first it just seemed like everybody was just scary people, whatever. So it took me a few times walking through there to understand that there were the psychos that had escaped, and then there were also the kids. So there were essentially kids there, and it took me a few minutes walking through there to really see them being kind of like in their character, in their element, to understand the story of it, because there were the kids. If you watch them, they're all, they're wearing their Halloween costumes, and they're terrified. They're acting like they're terrified. They're acting like they're hiding from the psychopaths and stuff like that. Right. And if you catch them in the right moment, they say, "Have you seen my mommy? Have you seen my mommy?" Or like, "That man took my daddy," and stuff like that. And it took me a minute to really like process all of it, but once I did, it was like, holy shit! It's like, this is a very well thought out story within the scare zone that I've just been completely overlooking while walking from house to house. And
wasn't it kind of a combination of the house of body collectors too, because the body collectors took over Shady Brook Asylum, so the inmates or whatever you want to say have escaped into the streets, the ones that were able to get away, kind of thing.
Not quite. So the house is based on in the late 1800s, before all the events of what we know as psychoscarapy having actually took place. Mm. That's what the house is based off of. The actual street scare zone is like 1950s or something like that. Shady Brook, which is the town that the Shady Brook Asylum resides in, right, is having their fall festival, and the inmate bus crashes in the middle of it, and they all escape and run rampant. So they're kind of connected, but it's really kind of two different timelines between the scare zone and the actual what's going on in the body collector's house. But yeah, they're kind of connected.
Kind of like Back to the Future 1 and Back to the Future 2. They're still in the same area, but just different time frames.
Yeah, pretty much.
I always like to imagine that, but this is wrong in light of this new news. But I always just imagine that the body collector Shady Brook house, it still like coincides with the timeline of the scare zone, but like the asylum itself is just so not kept up to date, because of the poor conditions. I guess that's kind of what I just assumed, but
right.
The other one makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely makes more sense. Like, I just kind of saw Shady Brook and Shady Brook. I thought, oh, okay, that's how they got out, because they got away from the things. Cool. I will say this. Well, here's a little. I know Universal probably really wants my opinion, and actually they do, because they have the surveys available.
I told him it was spooktacular. I just walked by, and they're like, "How was your experience?" It was spooktacular. And laughed for about 20 minutes to myself.
And you've been waiting for that for...
Oh, it was literally the last night. I was like, okay, if they ever ask me, I'm going to say it's spooktacular.
Every weekend.
They finally asked me.
But, all right. Tell the little hand motion people, ushers in the houses. Okay, a couple things. You're going through the house already. You're not going to be able to run. You're not going to be able to pass people. You're not going to be able to go faster than the people going in front of you. All right? Don't sit there and tell people to keep moving when you're already moving. Okay? That pisses me off, for one thing. But, all right, second of all, if the line is stopped, why don't you move and try to figure out what's going on? Why is it getting backed up? If the line's not moving, when you're already so busy worried about telling people to keep moving, when the line actually stops, why don't you check then and see why the line's not moving?
Yeah.
All right? Okay.
Like, I don't want to get an STD from the person in front of me because they tell me to keep moving and they're not moving in front of me.
Yeah, I'm not going to be friggin', belly to back suplex on these people that I don't like to begin with. But, all right, and another thing, let's strategically stand somewhere where there's not going to be a scare. Okay? There are dead zones, no pun intended, in these houses where you can stand and do your little motion, telling people to keep moving, where you're not going to stand right in front of a effect in the house, for God's sake. There was actually an usher that kept standing in the body collectors scene that we kept talking about, with the different doctors looking at the spine being ripped out, standing right in front of a person jumping out of the thing. Then when you go through Insidious, there was a guy, Gary and Trey, where the little walker thing that like toddlers walk in with the wheels, and it rolls by itself in the hallway.
Yeah.
Remember that scene? There was a freaking usher standing right in front of it. As you're making your turn, he's motioning people to go this way around the corner that you obviously know, and he's standing right in front of the little special effect where the wheels on the track, the little walker thing is on the track and rolls towards the people and he's standing right in front of the damn thing. I was like, dude, are you serious? I've seen this, but I would like to see it without your dumbass standing right in front of it. God, it drives me nuts, these people. Why don't you stand in the areas where there's not things that you're supposed to be seeing? That's my biggest complaint. And motion, this way. Just, we're moving, people, okay?
We got to get your ass going, man.
My rant is over. Any other words of advice for Universal?
No, I definitely agree. If they're listening to this, I already kind of
tweeted out to them, by God.
I kind of already made my rant about how probably wait times with express and standby lines could probably be managed a little bit better, but
right.
I definitely agree. There was also a few times in some of the houses where some of the ushers would, just be like, okay, move along, keep moving, and like really loudly and stuff, and really take you out of the element. I get that, but I get that it needs to be done, but maybe there's got to be a more creative way to keep that moving along.
Yeah.
Like directional scares. You see that there's people hanging up in a certain spot because they're getting scared in some way. Have somebody come up and scare their ass from behind, get their ass moving.
Right.
Or something like that. I don't know. My 2 cents about it.
Yeah. Anything, Trey, to help out? We pretty much get it.
Yeah, I mean, y'all pretty much nailed it on the head. I mean, I don't know how it gets backed up to begin. Okay, like when we were walking through the body collectors, we were standing there for like literally a minute, just in the middle of the house, and I didn't understand what the holdup was with that. Like, I don't know if someone fell over or someone literally got stabbed, and they're like, I don't know, because we were there for like a minute.
Kind of through the jailish area underneath. Yeah. That gets frustrating too. Because then obviously the characters, the people in the houses, they kind of don't really know what to do.
Yeah,
so,
it takes you out of it because they're just kind of standing there instead of doing anything.
Yeah. So that's kind of the negative. The good thing is, I am so glad they kept Gringotts open.
That's right.
This year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
fantastic. The one that's long
as
the body collectors one day. That was forever.
No, when we were right there by the casket, we got held out there for a couple minutes.
Really? Yeah. I don't remember that.
I could tell you guys exactly how it gets held up, and I'll tell you case in point. Our last run through Freddy vs. Jason, there's a group of gentlemen, grown men, mind you, in front of us. And I had to literally catch one of these guys because he was so scared to the point that he would not move forward.
That's so sweet.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I don't know if there's any way that could be more intelligently managed to keep put traffic going. Because, these characters in the house, they have cues, and they have to hit those cues. Now, if somebody's hung up in that, at that part where that actor has to hit his cue, then, there could be a shift to kind of push them in a different direction or something, but I don't know. It kind of just happens, I guess.
And let me say this, too, for people who go for the first time or whatever, it helps if you kind of do a little bit of acting yourself. I mean, you might not truly be scared, but let me say this, if you go and you're kind of like walking around and you're thinking, this sucks kind of thing, go ahead and put a little effort into, you know what I'm saying, kind of play the scared person role or something, I guess I could say.
You got to sell it a little bit. You see someone get powerbombed in a WWE match, you expect them to sell the back a little bit, kind of, ooh, my back, okay, you get scared, oh, my scared senses, my hormones, my adrenal glands are going off like crazy.
It's a work. You got to work it.
So, I mean, and plus, if the characters see people getting a reaction, what do they say? Another wrestling analogy, the worst thing you can see is you either want them to boo you or cheer you, but the worst thing that happened if they just sit there on their hands.
Yep.
Well, if these people going all out trying to scare you or whatever, give them something. The worst, like I said, the worst possible thing is walking through a house or walking through a scare zone and people no-selling what people are trying to do to them. Now, I understand sometimes it just don't work. Somebody does some dumb grunt instead of actually trying to scare somebody or
I don't sell that. But if someone's like actually putting in some effort,
right,
I'll be like,
Yeah, I'll do that.
But then the more you do, the more you kind of get into it and get into the personality of the whole event and the reason it's there. And it just makes it for a more fun event for you. It makes it more fun for all the people around you because everybody else is there and they kind of see,
Yeah, and if nothing else,
this guy got scared, or this chick freaked out.
You got scared at the Halloween event.
If nothing else, it gets that particular actor involved with that scare pumped up, and makes it even better for everybody else because that gets them pumped up. It's like, ooh, I got scared. Let's keep this up, keep this going. So. And
then when they really get like a girl or something scared, and they're like screaming or they take off running, dude, it's like bugs to a damn bug light, dude. You get 3 or 4 of them going after the person. It's great. It really gets everybody going. So
great moments.
Yeah, it makes it all the more fun. But yeah, it's great. So much fun this year. So many great houses. The scare zones were strong this year.
10 out of 10 would recommend Get Express.
Yeah.
Or go.
Definitely recommend going. Huh?
Either Get Express or go many nights.
Right.
I would say even if you're going Express, even if you're going many nights, at least try to get some Express.
Yeah. Do that half off deal, man. Do that.
Yeah, do that.
You
can get that. Do that.
Let's see. I guess that's about it, guys. If y'all want to.
So I had one final question I wanted to ask you guys.
Yeah.
About The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure Trey and Drayton, you guys observed this. I'm sure The Walking Dead this year. This is our 4th year with The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And as you guys noticed, we observed probably some of the lowest wait times for any house throughout the event that I went anyways, were with The Walking Dead. And saw some of the lower wait times throughout it.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys feel that A, is the general consensus that it seems like just about everybody is over it, and B, do you foresee us getting it back again next year, and C, if we get it back again next year, would you prefer to see it at some kind of smaller capacity, like a dedicated themed scare zone, or do we expect to see it as a house again?
I think the later we got into it, like you just said, it was 60 minutes or 80 minutes now?
Yeah.
I think that kind of, it was it was usually under 60 minutes whenever we went every time, usually 30 to 40, 50-minute range. So I don't think it's quite played out, like maybe to us it is, but I think the general population, the damn show was more popular than ever. Speaking of, the premiere was tonight.
Yep.
Which I'm watching afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's totally played out publicly, but I do think it is waning maybe as far as the house is concerned because we haven't really seen any innovation.
No.
In the house in the past.
In my opinion,
2 years probably.
This kind of felt like last year's house, except less impressive because it was smaller in scale, and it was kind of almost the same thing to me. Because we saw them in like a store, we saw them in a forest, we saw them in all these situations I've already seen them in before.
Yeah.
As far as, let's see. Well,
I think the only way they can bring it back is if they take it to space.
I honestly think a scare zone might work better than a house, to be honest, if they do bring it back next year.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can kind of give you that open environment. I think the house part of it, I mean, they're kind of the scary part of it is that they're chasing you, not they're sitting there waiting on you, kind of thing. Don't y'all kind of agree?
No, absolutely. And that's kind of why I brought up the point of maybe seeing as a scare zone, because you think about The Walking Dead, it's the world taken over by zombies. Put that.
Right.
I felt like, granted, we were so damn burnt out on The Walking Dead when it became. We were already kind of burnt out on The Walking Dead when they made it the entire street experience for 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But I felt like that actually worked really well. Like, turn New York into Atlanta. Plain and simple. Turn it into a zombie apocalypse-ridden Atlanta. Bring a handful of hordes of zombies and stuff, to Atlanta. Or in the New York area, make that like a really big ass scare zone, and that leaves your house room open for something else.
Right.
Something that can like tell more of a story, because like there's not really much of a story you can tell with just zombies, Yep.
I think what could be kind of cool too is if instead of, remember, make it still one dedicated area as a scare zone for Walking Dead, but I would still keep as many zombies or whatever and just make it like occasionally where you have them all out there at once, where it's kind of like a whole, the whole, if remember
thing,
where they have the hordes of them, the migration of them, and it's like you can barely even turn around without seeing a zombie coming at you. I think that would be kind of, and not have that all the time, but just kind of make it sporadically throughout the night.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe have like a siren go, something to kind of draw them out, kind of thing, or something like, have something like that going on where, because obviously the phenomena of Walking Dead is still out there because, like I said, the show is just getting more and more popular, it seems like, each year.
Yeah.
So use that to your advantage, but like I said, the houses are just played out to me, in my opinion, for Walking Dead. Now, that being said, to your third part, I would be ready for Fear the Walking Dead next year if you want to know through the house.
Oh, man, I hope not.
I think we're going to see that. I really do. Because there's a couple of key scenes, and y'all that have seen it probably know what I'm talking about, with the whole church scene and house, neighborhood scene, military, blah, blah, blah. They'll have a couple of soldiers in the house and shooting the guns at you and everything because the military's bad. We all know that, right?
Yep.
So, I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest for Fear the Walking Dead house next year.
Well, I hope you're wrong, but unfortunately, that could be the way it goes.
Yeah, and they might even make it a big deal, like, oh, we're not doing Walking Dead this year, and then
doing Fear the Walking Dead.
Exactly. I feel like it's gonna be like one giant like promotional piece to like push the show, because like near the end of the run this season, it kind of started to, the utility of it being a new Walking Dead show kind of started to wear off, and people were kind of saying how. I didn't watch it, but what I've been hearing is, like, the characters aren't exactly great, and, like, the story's not great.
Right.
And we're not quite to the zombie part yet, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but still, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of there by the end of the season, but.
Okay.
Some of them. But, so, do you think they'll bring it, Gary, or?
I hope not, but it sounds inevitable.
Shoot, we might get lucky and get a Fear the Walking Dead house and a Walking Dead house.
Oh, how about that? That'd be great, wouldn't it?
That'd be.
Yeah, that would be spectacular.
That would be swell.
We can only hope.
How? What do you think? Any ideas for next year's kind of theme or anything?
Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Shaun of the Dead house.
I hate to say it, but I would kind of like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But,
that one little bit that had at that Horror Nights 19 with that little room in the pub, that was pretty sweet. If they could like just do that.
Look, if they're doing a damn This Is the In-House in Hollywood, they can give us a Shaun of the Dead house.
That's true.
They own the property. It's a Universal film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder why they haven't done it already. That's kind of weird.
I think it's because they haven't felt confident enough to do a comedy house. But I think that This Is the End has had really good reviews, so they might think about it.
I mean, they went Penn and Teller and all that stuff. I don't know why they can't go, and that was one of the better houses too, I thought.
Yeah, all right. It was kind of.
I mean, not amazing, but it was a solid house.
I think they're waiting on that. It's cool nostalgia, which it kind of already is. But
are they worried that Shaun of the Dead might not be popular enough for a big enough draw?
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, it's kind of a cult classic.
Right.
So that might be the concern, and it might just be a timing thing. They might just be waiting because you think about Freddy vs. Jason kind of came out around that same time. So,
right.
I don't know.